What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the weekly Celts podcast number 1. In today's podcast, we have Dr. Spankolicious, we have AG Randy JK, and we will be soon to have some Dominion gameplay in the background of the stream. So I hope you do enjoy. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But now I pass it over to Red Dawn, and he may begin the stream. Welcome to the weekly podcast number 1. So, now that that's over and done with, ladies and gents, we can begin this saucy form of entertainment in the form of some gameplay in the background, and we can also start off with the conversations. Luckily, right here I have the patch notes for the most recent patch, so we can go into detail of what we think is currently wrong with the game, what's going well with the game, and what we will hope to see in the future, because obviously at the moment there's a lot of conspiracy with what will be happening. So, you know, my main point of view for this podcast as of this week, next week's will be a little bit different, is the fact that myself and the guys that are present with me at the moment will be going over a lot of saucy information as well as giving our opinions on it. But as a first on the Red Dawn channel, we have only specifically looked at the dueling sections and so forth. Now we can look at every fucking aspect of this damned game, luckily, from 2 points of views. We have Dr. Spankolicious coming in to give us the casual point of view, and then you've got myself and AG Randy JK here with us today to give you the more pro aspect of the game and what we think is going on with it at the moment. So, to kick off this lovely discussion that we will be planning to be having for the next hour, Spanks, what's your take on the casual play at the moment? What's it like to play casually in this game?
I find it not too bad, man, to be honest. Just bear with me a wee second, dude. Just booting up my stream at the same time here now.
Dirty boy.
We'll get her going.
What's up, Man of War? How you doing, son? How are you doing? By the way, guys, I won't be acknowledging the comments as much in this stream, because obviously this is going to be a more conversation sort of
Hey, got
topic.
assault, buddy. How's things, man?
Hey,
How's
we
things,
got co-streamers here with us. Dirty people, dirty people.
Alright, so casual state of play.
Yeah, what's your take on casual state of play at the moment? Because obviously once we've got that out of the way, we can talk about the more pressing matters.
Yeah, man, it's not too bad. To be fair, I find that with the new characters being implemented, people have kind of gotten used to the way the game runs now. With the way the characters play, it's not as bad as what it once was when Marching Fire first released. Obviously, whenever you're a new player coming in, the new Wulin characters were quite strong, so naturally experienced players were playing as them and burning up the lobbies. But
The new babies, baby chaps.
yeah, but over time, people have gotten used to it, so to speak. So it's not so bad anymore.
I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, granted, but with the way that they're balancing the game at the moment, a lot of people are saying that they're favouring one side over instead of balancing over both. So, for example, they're using their dueling data from ranked to kind of get, you know, what characters are doing well, what characters aren't doing well, for example. So, I mean, you've got Peacekeeper all the way down at the bottom, followed by the Warlord as well. So, I mean, it's just one of those situations where they need to be careful about how they are going to be balancing this game in the future, because from a competitive point of view, some of the characters are annoying to deal with, and it's now becoming a more light attack orientated game instead of anything else, which is a bit of a shame, because of the fact that it takes away the aspect of, you know, playing with your mind tricks and all sorts of stuff,
so to speak. You know, actually utilising the full set. Now, in saying that, the casual state of play on Xbox is a lot tougher than the casual state of play on the PC.
Yeah.
If you're rep 2 and above on PC, you can parry you can parry deflex.
I mean, yeah, it's not so bad, but I mean,
Or sorry,
currently,
parry lights even.
oh, I'm gonna get ledged. Fuck it. But yeah, I mean, it is difficult because of the fact that this game in Season 1, a lot of people have said that in Season 1, Season 2, that they enjoyed the game more than they do now because of the fact that there is a wide character roster. And there are characters that are unbalanced, balanced, and so forth. So, I mean, it is a bit of a bitch because, for example, we've got Shigoki. He's been in the game for a very long time, but he's the most underplayed character out of the entire roster. So it is a bit of a shame to deal with it. But...
Hey,
one
XL,
second, boys.
Phenom, buddy. Welcome to the stream. Hey, Bendy, buddy. How's things? Please? Well, hello.
But I mean, from a pro
Salt was also asking there, Red Dawn, about
questions.
the state on the casual side of things for the fact that Shigokis have become a relic of the past. There's very, very few Shigokis left.
There is very few Shigokis left, and it's a shame because of the fact that Shigoki is probably one of the main figureheads of this game. But the thing that people need to realise is the fact that they are reworking Shigoki. He will be getting a rework in the future, but the problem in saying that is, with the reworks we've had in the past, it's not exactly something to look forward to. So we'll take the first reworks we got, for example. We had Berserker and Kensei, who were the first guys that were reworked out of the roster. And in all fairness, Kensei's rework, he is probably one of the most balanced characters in the game at the moment. Then you've got Berserker, for example. They basically turned Berserker into S tier, and he's been S tier ever since.
Yeah, I actually think Berserker would be probably one of the most powerful characters in the game for casual end of play, simply because of his hyper armor. Like, I would say I'd be an intermediate level casual player, and I can deflect really, really well. But when you come up against the likes of Berserker, deflecting is null and void because the hyper armor will eat the hit and then he'll still follow through with a secondary hit. So you have to have a strong parry game in order to combat it.
I mean,
Triple's online, by the way, buddy.
We'll play one more brawl and we'll pick him up and jump into some Dominion. But
yeah, I just want to double check. Can everybody hear Red Dawn okay?
Hello, I come from outer space. I'm a saucy model from model page. Fuck off, die.
You're a little bit quiet. Alright, Red Dawn, if you could like adjust your mic just to come through a little bit louder.
Suck my ass. Alright, but Kieran, we've talked a bit about the casual side of things now. Coming in through the more professional sort of comp side type of stuff. For those that don't know, me and Kieran are a brawl team. We enter brawl tourneys quite regularly when they're up, and we get placed top 10 all the time. We have never placed lower than that. So to bring Kieran in for this is an absolute must for me if we're talking about the pro side, because we've played together in this comp scene now for a very long time. We both entered AG as a brawl team. So, you know, this is where this is going to be coming in. But Kieran, what's your take on the professional sort of comp player side at the moment? Are they doing well with it? What with the characters and the reworks and stuff? What are your thoughts on that, my good sir?
It's really fucking one-sided sometimes. Some of the characters are just too strong. Some of the games that you play, it's either consists of deflex most of the time, but most of the time it's always lights. The most thing I have the problem with is the lights, because we can't see the lights as quick as PC. It's a real struggle sometimes to actually put some damage out when you're against someone that's constantly using their lights.
So would you suggest that maybe in the future Ubisoft could look into doing a sort of cross-platform multi-patch system where they go, right, we're going to start doing the PC updates just for the PC, and we're going to start doing console updates specifically for the console players, so that we're not getting absolutely obliterated by constant 400 millisecond light attacks.
Yeah, I think they definitely need to at least sort it out, because it's not fun to play a game you're doing really well and then you come up against someone that you can tell doesn't have that much skill because they're just pushing a light button.
Yeah, it is
They
infuriating.
need to do
definitely.
some sort of update to fix the time that we see the lights.
Yeah, maybe something like a. Oh man, this can't say it's eating it, eh?
But I definitely think they need to
Sorry.
do some cross-platform stuff, 100%, because of the fact that the Xbox at the moment, in terms of the comp scene, is practically dead. There's nothing on it. I mean, AG recently entered a Dom tourney, where hardly any teams have actually entered the tourney as a whole. And,
Yeah,
I mean, there's a massive prize pool at the end of this tournament, so it's not to say that there is no comp scene on the game, because there are small little communities at the moment. You've got Epic Gamers, you've got SM, you've got AG, you've got AOV, you've got all these little groups that have come together to try and build a comp scene on this game. So I don't know what they're doing with it currently, but they definitely need to start doing something, because it is a fighting game. Let's remember this, ladies and gentlemen. It is in fact a fighting game, so you're not going to be sitting there constantly balancing for your 95% of the group when you've got 5% of the group that are actually building competent sources of information that you can actually use. So what I mean by that is, when I say competent information, I basically mean to say that, oh Christ, that when somebody comes in and gives a description on a recent patch, or they're giving an opinion on how broken or OP a character is, they're not going to listen to the 95% of players that come on for an hour, play the game about twice a week, because they're not going to get the best patch out there for that 5% of dedicated players that actually enter these tournaments and perform well. So they definitely need to think about how they're patching this game on both platforms, because there is a platform base thing at the moment. It's like this game should have been only released on PC because it's been made to play from a PC's perspective. But that's at least how I feel about this game at the moment. So for those that don't know, I have indeed played it on the PC. I've played on the PC a few times, and it is a much more pleasant game to play on the PC, 100%.
Yes.
Because you can react to the delayed 400 milliseconds light attacks. They are still a pain in the arse, but they're not as painful to deal with as, say, the 400 millisecond lights from an Orochi on console. So it's about getting the correct information from everybody else, isn't it?
The one thing I will say in regards to playing on PC versus playing on console is that on PC you get the opportunity to use more of your move set, if you know what I mean. Whereas on console you don't. Like, for example, it's a lot easier to deflect, a lot easier to parry on PC. So therefore, like, so Orochi as on the casual end of things, you're not going to get a new player or a strictly casual player throwing out deflects, which means that whole idea of that is taken away from the likes of an Orochi or even a Shaman Peacekeeper. Like, Peacekeeper is actually very playable on the PC and enjoyable to play as, but on console, unless you're a very good player, you're going to struggle with that, you know?
Yeah.
For example, we were playing a casual game the other night, and we came up, it was me, Trip, and two others on a Dom match. We came up against a rep 30 and a rep 59 Peacekeeper, and we had a rep, overall rep, I think it was like 20, absolutely obliterated the Peacekeepers, like, you know, not even a question. You know, and this was a dedicated Rep 59 Peacekeeper. That person should have been able to cakewalk it, you know, with the experience of playing so much with that class, and they didn't. You know, there is a severe imbalance for certain characters that struggle, so it limits the play field for what people can be in the casual end of things.
Agreed.
Whereas, like, you know, if you're running like overall rep, you know, 1 to 50, you're just going to basically be inundated with Kenseis, Wardens, and Raiders.
Drop tripping in back.
You are going to get. Yeah, we'll do. You will get the odd person coming in and playing, you know, various different classes. But unless it's a very strong class, you're more than likely not going to come across it. For example, you play Warlord.
Yeah.
On you'd be one of the very few Warlords that I would actually come across. You know, especially one that can play it well. And that's simply because a lot of people don't find certain characters viable. Whereas like a Warden's basically like a, you know, they can pick it up and go, and that's not a bad thing. That's a very good thing, because that means that he's a good character and an all-round character for people to play with. And as far as I'm aware, at the high-end level of play, there's a lot of Wardens around as well.
Yeah, there is. I mean, I think my main concern for this game moving forward is how they look at doing the reworks of the characters, especially from the casual point of view and the pro point of view. You're wanting them to get these characters to a point where you can look at everybody in the character roster and say, oh, I want to play this guy because of these reasons. At the moment, if you're going into a professional tournament and you enter a Shigoki, you're going to lose because of the fact that people will get those light parries, they will get those deflects. But if you were to enter as a Conqueror or a fucking Shaman or something like that, you've got much more of a chance to win if you know what you're doing. On the casual aspect of things, it's not really a massive problem because they only play the game for a few hours a week. They're only in 2 days a week, if that, maybe, playing the game, playing it for a laugh with their mates, and then they'll leave it for a bit. So for them, it's not really a massive issue, but they still find issue with it and cause concerns. So this is where Ubisoft needs to buck up their ideas and think, oh, okay, so we've got this comp side that really want to push our game into the future, and we've got this casual player base that makes up 95% of what we're trying to make here. But the issue is, if you patch for the casuals, they're going to be running around with like 500 millisecond lights and all this, going, oh yeah, this game feels better to play. But when you get into the comp side of stuff and you go to these tournaments, as soon as you throw out a 500 millisecond light, you're asking for a light parry, you're asking to be slapped. So they definitely need to think about how to meet people in the middle, make everybody happy. Otherwise, I do not see this game surviving into another year of its development because of the fact that they've now already lost, I'm going to take a hefty guess here and say, a quarter of the player base. So
I would even say more, man. I would say it'd be closer to a third.
It's hard, but
Red
let's...
Dawn, if you can adjust your mic a wee bit more, man, because a couple of my guys are saying that you're coming through very quiet. It's the Xbox Party app, man. It's bringing you through very silent.
I'm practically kissing it, you know.
Then eat it.
I'm not mate, get some help, alright? You absolute tit. Codswallop, little...
Yeah, he's streaming on YouTube, God Assault, buddy.
But ladies and gents, I have the patch notes with me at the moment, so I am not just talking about this off the top of my head. I actually do have things to go over in the patch notes. So, in the recent patch that literally dropped a few days ago, they've done some matchmaking changes. So, when you are the last player of your group in a non-duel PvP session, the match continues with bots replacing players who have left, and leave penalties are now deactivated. When you are the last player in any dual PvP or any ranked session, you will win the game automatically. So that means if you're playing ranked, ladies and gents, it's not going to be a massive fucking issue if somebody leaves and now you're stunted with a level 3 bot and you lose the game, lose some standing.
Thanks for that follow, buddy. I appreciate it.
So it's definitely going to be a massive case of...
Like,
oh, right, they're doing this, which looks actually looks alright, but it's now a matter of the fact, are they going to follow through with it? Which, if we continue reading the patch notes, they have done, which is good news. I'm just trying to survive this gank at the moment.
You went quiet there for a second, man.
Yeah, my mic kind of had an issue. Oh god.
That's fine.
No. So, if I continue reading through the patch notes, the matchmaking system now sorts the tickets by age. If two players have the exact same matchmaking parameter values, the one who has been waiting the longest in matchmaking will now be matched first. So, for those of you that were waiting about 10-20 minutes trying to get into a game and your mate just got into the lobby and he was searching for 2 seconds, you know, happy days off your pop, alright? So that's now sorted. So some of the improvements. Now this is a massive, massive, massive thing that when we come out of this game we'll be hopefully grabbing our resident shaman main, Randy JK, to prove this. So fighters, you've most likely all heard about the fact that they were going to be nerfing the shaman. And what they said would be happening is the fact that shaman would now be nerfed as during the bite. It wouldn't necessarily be the shaman that's been nerfed. Her damage values have remained pretty much the same. All that has actually changed is the fact that when you've got a bite, it's not going to be a massive case of, oh holy shit, this person's on the ground, pummel them down like you used to be able to. It's now a massive case of easy peasy, I can't deal all the damage. However, that's not exactly how they turned it all out in the end. Now, if you are a shaman main and you do this, you're a twat. I'm sorry, but you are a twat. End of that discussion. But it says here, improvement. The shaman's Hunter's Mercy will now be immediately interrupted by any ally or opponent hitting her, hitting either the shaman or her target. So that's basically the same as it always has been, as we all know. But what is actually changed, which is the one thing that we do need to take note, is the fact that shaman used to be able to continuously kick the bite on and on and on. And that was stopped. The bleed would be removed after a bite and you couldn't repeat if somebody knocked you off. But what is the case now is that bleed remains. And if somebody hits the shaman or the opponent, that single person will deal full damage on their heavy attack, right? So the shaman can literally get up, repounce, the person hits them with a heavy, that person's got 2 bars left, and you allow the shaman to follow through with the bite. So in essence, they haven't nerfed the shaman, they've instead given her a crazy fucking buff that people are now exploiting.
Yeah,
so
you can do.
Kieran, as you are the resident shaman main, what are your thoughts on this?
I don't really feel like it's much of a difference, to be fair. Yeah, it makes it a lot more easier for us to actually bite them, but in gank situations, if you're with people and they hit you off, that's the most infuriating thing that you can ever do to a shaman, because you're just about to bite them and then your team or someone else knocks you off just as you're about to bite them. It's painful. But now it makes it less painful because you can just jump straight back. It's not too bad, but
stuck a link into your into my chat about it.
So it is something that people are aware of. Sorry, Spanks, off your pop.
Oh no, you're alright, man. What I was gonna say is, in regards to the that shaman scenario, I play a little bit of shaman. I'm obviously not a massive shaman player, but I would agree, when you get knocked off the bite, it is probably one of the most annoying things that can happen to you.
it is painful.
Oh, shite. Spank you back up. Ah, damn it.
Try to deflect him. As well, guys, in the patch notes, another point to bring up would be that the AA bot 3s have all got a nerf.
Right.
Or will be getting a nerf.
Yeah, so the arcade mode's improved.
Yeah, because it was pretty much cancer for any high-end play. You know, if you had a high gear score, you were going to get mashed.
But, ladies and gents, the only
Especially for
reason
casual.
that we are actually going through the patch notes is because these actually bring up valid points as to what is currently wrong with this game. So, we've gone over the Shaman stuff, happy days, happy days. Tiandi's also now had his iframes changed, which is good. So is Zhang Jun. His zone attack actually hits people behind him now. PC have had some changes, bug fixes. So general adjustment, the camera awareness to give more visibility on external attacks, which is fine. Fix an exploit that allowed players to unlock during a backwards strafing attack and reach his opponent from the maximum attack range, sometimes causing attacks that can't be parried. Fix an issue that caused, whatever that says, attacks that parry, punishes and deflect attacks to target the last opponent you've hit rather than the person you're locked onto. And all sorts of stuff. But these are very minor fixes. There are a lot of other things that are currently in the game that definitely need attention, such as JJ's hitboxes. There are a lot of people that have gone away, done experiments, and the hitboxes are still an issue, even though they have actually been worked on. Also, you've got fucking the 400 millisecond lights, which people are still bitching about. So, there's so much stuff that their attention should be on, and it's not on, like the reworks of the characters, making all the characters as fun to play as everybody else, and all sorts of stuff. That's where their focus should be, but it's not. They're releasing pointless weekly content, and
yeah,
the moment
like armor sets and customization options.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas me personally, I'd rather have no content at all for say like, what, 2 months, and they come back with a banging character rework, and it allows that character to now be viable in both casual and comp play. Oh Christ.
Ah.
Oh.
Yeah. To touch on the subject of a separate patch for both console and PC, I do feel like that is something that they should really look into, and it's not to say that they don't have the funds of which to do it. It would be actually quite simple, but beyond that, something that Trip has brought up to me many times is that they don't base their patches on community feedback.
No, they don't.
They base it upon data, which is bullshit.
Because it's a massive case of, do you even play your own game? You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, if they would only listen to what people actually have to say, it would make a lot of difference for the actual community of people that are playing. You know, like, people struggle with different things. You know, people, you know, the old phrase "get good" when it comes to struggling against a certain character is ridiculous.
Exactly.
You know, it shouldn't be like that.
Like,
it should be a case that, you know, why are you having issues with this character? Oh, his likes are too fast. This is wrong. That's wrong. If I pull this off, by the way, boys, I'm a legend. Just saying.
You shit, but okay. Dr. Spangalicious is a shit fucking Orochi. He does not know what he's doing. Look at him. He's a bad at the game. But please, sir, do continue. Sensei has now left the building.
Sorry. I'm getting gagged.
Well, get good, scrub, alright? I'm turning into a Ubisoft developer, okay? You shit at the game. Get good.
Yeah, exactly. You know, scenarios like that. I understand that they're trying to improve upon certain aspects of the game, you know, and things like that, but it's the way that they go about doing it. You know, like, for example, they give JJ a buff whenever people were already complaining about it, but according to their data, he was, what, B tier or something?
He was,
you know,
low A tier. according to their
yeah,
data.
low A tier. You know, whereas you know they have other characters there that need far more attention more urgently than that. You know, like they're reworking Shikoki. I think did Shikoki get a rework before?
No, he's had very minor nerf. Well, I'd say minor. He's had stamina nerfs and nerfs and nerfs and nerfs and more fucking nerfs.
But it's the same with a lot of things. Like whenever they decided to go after their Peacekeeper rework back in the day, you know, yeah, they changed their moveset a little bit and things like that. Their lighter poisons or bleeds to stack, but at the same time, they nerfed her into the ground. It took her straight from one of the top most viable characters to the bottom.
So, Mr. Salt has just commented, just saying they have said they don't base nerfs buffs on just data. Now, I could simply say to you, Spanks, that I'm a female pretending to be a male and you'd be none the wiser, right? Until I'd show you the fact that I am what I'm saying I am. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
At the moment, what they're saying and doing are two completely different things. They're saying that they're going to be nerfing or fixing JJ's hitboxes, yet when I was playing and doing experiments earlier on today to find out if this was the case, it was not the case. Parries were still being missed, the parry window was stupid, and the best way to check this, ladies and gents, is to go into the training area and look at turn on the section where you do your parries and it comes up with a parry window. And you can actually gauge when the parry is coming through. Now, his attacks don't do what they used to. They don't hit you before the animation is finished. That is no longer the case. They hit you when the animation finishes, which is banging news. But the parry window is still really fucking small. You have about 100 to 200 milliseconds for that parry window, which is an incredibly small parry window on any fucking character. Alright? Silly. Stupid. So they definitely need to be fixing some of these characters, taking an in-depth look at what's wrong with them and listening to that 5% of players who have played these characters inside and out and know their shit.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, if they listen to the top tier players, right, and what they need from the top tier players isn't just the more technical aspects of the game. They need to the top tier players also need to give them ideas to make the characters more viable at lower end play. Because if they could somehow merge those two fields together, then the player base as a whole would be happy. Because if they turn around and they go, oh, we're going to run with 95% of casual players, right? Then those dedicated players that have put hundreds of days in or whatever, they're not going to be happy because it's going to completely change the dynamic of the field. Whereas if they would only, you know, tweak things certain ways, like for example, I personally believe that when people complain about Orochi's light spam, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's spam. Yeah, they're throwing out constant lights, but what else does Orochi really have? If Orochi throws out a heavy, unless you're really not expecting it, you're going to deflect it. You know, or not deflect it, sorry. You're going to parry it.
Exactly. Like, what a lot of people don't realise is now, this game is going heavily into the prediction over reaction stage. This game used to be a reaction game of rock, paper, scissors. So you could react to a lot of the things that were coming out and all sorts of stuff. It's now taking the direction of the whole, right, you need to predict what your opponent's doing, read their patterns, follow their patterns, and go through with it.
Basically,
a lot of people don't like it.
In order to learn the style of play that the person is using.
Exactly.
But on PC now it's completely different. On PC it's about reaction rather than prediction. Console it varies depending on the skill level of the player. For example, a new player is going to have to really rely on that prediction end of things, whereas
oh dear.
Dead boys. Whereas a new player will have to rely on prediction, but a more seasoned player, like even myself there, you know, I only have about 15 to 20 days worth of gameplay, which is a lot, bearing in mind, but in actual fact it's not much at all compared to others. I'm only rep 30 something overall, and I have started to develop a more reaction based style for console. That's not to say that I can react to everything, because things be fast, you know.
Exactly.
But sorry guys.
Yeah, just hunkering down here, ladies and gents. Gonna have to bear with us here. Just sending Papa Kensei to sleep. 99. But I think the main thing that's wrong with this game at the moment is a pure lack of imbalance. They need it, and they need it pronto, because if they don't get it, people are going to leave. And I mean, I'm already leaving this game earlier into next year to focus on other stuff, purely because I don't enjoy doing the content I do for it anymore, and I'm putting on a front to keep enjoying it when I don't. It's hard to do so, and that's not because I don't like the game. I love this game to pieces, but with the direction the devs are taking it, the pure lack of confidence in their own abilities, so to speak, is annoying to deal with, because of the fact that, you know, you've got that really dedicated player base and they're doing nothing with it, in essence. They're using their data as a form of fucking acceptable noting, which is shit. Oh.
God.
Got him. But
yeah, what I was gonna say there is, whenever we were having a discussion there the other day, Red Dawn, you said something and it actually resonated quite well, and that was that the game is on its last legs. It's in a sense dying, and a lot of content creators are now getting to the stage in which they don't want to die with the game.
no, yeah, I don't. And that's not because we're bad content creators. It's because of the fact that they've left this game now far too long to properly fix. A lot of these things could have been fixes that they implemented in Season 1, for Christ's sake. Like... Oh. There we go. But I don't know. It needs changes, because of the fact that it's hard for any comp player, and even a casual, to deal with it. Sorry, boys and girls, we're just focusing down on trying to win this match at the same time and running a podcast.
Yeah. Ah, boys. My fish food. You reckon UFC? Well, me and Red Dawn, we've been discussing various games that we're interested in. Anthem is a big player in my mind. And on top of that there, I'm also looking at a bit of Mortal Kombat 11. Whenever that would maybe come.
Oh Christ, I just killed myself.
As well as that there is the anime game coming out, the cross anime fighter Jump Force. I haven't seen any actual gameplay of it, but I have seen some trailers and stuff. It looks very weeby, which suits me down to the ground, boys. You know,
Weebalicious.
But I still want to keep For Honor going.
I'm not sure, but that
Agent
Jump
P,
Force,
did I hear weeb?
with that Jump Force, I think, I'm not too sure, but one of the people that helped work with Dark Souls also is helping the Jump Force, I think.
Well, that would be awesome. You know, like that could bring a lot of interesting factors. Oh god, I'm on fire. God.
But
Didn't realise that
Into
the
long.
game of For Honor turned into Battlefield 4.
As I said to see you guys at the start of the stream, like the main focus for the devs, in my personal opinion, to fix this game and to do it right for both casual, for all platforms, they need to look into doing their cross-platform stuff. Maybe even get another team together. You know, like Ubisoft is a massive fucking company that branch over
They have
multiple
the money.
development studios. They can focus directly on both PC and console. It's just a lack of wishing to. The thing is about the consoles and the PC that differs most is PC updates can be thrown out on Steam, no problem. They don't need to be back checked or anything or out like that. That's why PC usually get their updates first, for those that aren't aware. Xbox, especially, they have to go through a whole Microsoft checking system so that it doesn't break their codes of conduct. There's no breaking or shit that's in the game that breaks what they're after and all sorts of stuff. So yes, it's a lot easier to put the updates out on PC, it's a lot harder to put them out on Xbox, but it's definitely something that needs to happen for this game to keep going, because if they manage to do that, yes, that basically means that the games will become two separately different things, but that also means it gives the PC players a chance to live up to what they want in the game, and it gives the console players the exact same fucking thing, which is really important for this game's future. Let's take Mortal Kombat, for example, right? Has everybody in this party played a Mortal Kombat game before? Everybody. Kieran, have you played?
I played 10 a lot on both PC and console.
Say that again, Kieran.
Nope.
Trip, have you played a Mortal Kombat game? Yes, right, I have. Okay, thank you. So, the thing about Mortal Kombat, ladies and gents, is that they put a lot of time into their characters before the game is released. So you can practically say it's nigh on perfecto, Patronus, bonus, penis. So, you know, it's good stuff when it releases, which is really fucking good. Mortal Kombat's a sick game. But when those characters release, you go in-depth in your own character's moveset and you learn it. And it doesn't mean that you're OP as hell, it just means that you're more skilled with that moveset. You can argue the same on this game, however, they don't have 400 millisecond light attacks whipping out from each and fucking direction, or silly, stupid parry timings are out like that. It's purely based off your skill, your reaction, and the game rarely receives nerfs to characters, changes to characters, and so forth, which is what this game needs. It's important that they do this.
Yeah, in regards to what you're saying about the likes of Mortal Kombat versus For Honor, Mortal Kombat is a different animal in that regard. It receives, I would say, a shit ton more polish, and that's down to Ubisoft. Most Ubisoft games end up having issues, but in regards to 400 millisecond lights on For Honor, it's a very different game. Because in Mortal Kombat, most of the character sets are pretty much even in their speed of attack. What varies in Mortal Kombat is more what the attack does and the style of attack that it is. For example, you take Mortal Kombat was made by Midway or Warner Brothers or whatever, but they also brought out Injustice 2. Now I played a lot of Injustice 2. But Injustice 2 had a very similar problem to what For Honor has, and that is that there was an abusable system in it, and the abusable system was if you chose to play as a long-range character like Superman, Supergirl, people like that, you were able to just essentially zone attack the person. Just keep them on the other side of the screen. Supergirl was extremely bad because she was able to actually just like, say if you did somehow get close, like I always played as Catwoman because I like fast-paced, aggressive style fighting up close and personal. But if you got close to her, Supergirl had a move that allowed her to teleport essentially to the other side of the screen. She flew off and went off the other side, which essentially just completely opened up the zone again and left you that you had to then proceed to jump and bounce around and duck and weave trying to get to the other side of the screen and pray that when you got there you got a hit on her so she couldn't just teleport to the other side of the screen again. It was a toxic sort of way. Wow, that shaman looks really cool, by the way. But, you know, Mortal Kombat is more sort of an equal playing field. There's other aspects of Mortal Kombat as well that For Honor should have always had. Like, King of the Hill is a perfect mode, especially for streamers, content creators, stuff like that there, because you don't have to sit there and make custom game lobbies and all that there. Plus, you got your experience whenever you've done those King of the Hill modes. So fight clubs essentially on Mortal Kombat don't exist because they're already there. You know what I mean? It's already pre-built into the game as opposed to having to set up custom one yourself.
Exactly.
You know, there's a lot of things. I think another thing they should have put in For Honor was a free floating camera, so that essentially you could do things for content creators. You know, like making videos and stuff. You could, you know, use the camera to get nice. Sorry, I'm getting attacked by Shaolin.
Yeah, like what we can do now, Spanks, is we've spoke for the last solid 45 minutes. So what I'm thinking we could do is open the floor to these guys that are currently watching and let them ask us questions and we will answer those questions. So guys, we're going to have a bit of a Q&A session now. You've listened to us drag on and moan on for quite a while. So keep in mind, you've got myself, you've got Dr. Spankalicious, and you've got AG Randy JK that are present in the party. So thrust your questions towards us. We'll answer the questions and then we will leave the podcast there for the night.
One point I wanted to make. You said about cross-platform.
Yeah.
For like PC and Xbox, or I don't really think that's a great idea. It would be fun for some people, but for the casual people, they just want to play the game, have a laugh, and they're up against someone that's going to parry every single one of their lights and deflect everything. It's not going to make it fun for them. It'll make it fun for some others, but I think most of the community, they won't like that.
Yeah.
In regards to that, the likes of, you know, a lot of like people being able to parry and things like that there, from PC play, end of things, whenever I went to PC, it was very different because of the fact that all of a sudden I was learning to deflect. I was able to do all these different things. Oh, he's gonna ledge me. You know, before I started trying out PC, I couldn't deflect unless it was a fluke. I played PC for about a week. I came back to Xbox, and all of a sudden, I had realized that deflecting was a doable thing, and parrying was a doable thing as well. It's not to say I didn't know that those were elements in the game, but I felt for me at my skill level, it wasn't going to happen. But I adapted and learned, and then because of that, whenever I came to the console end of things again, it was I was all of a sudden was able to do it. You know, it was quite a surprise to me.
I think it would just make the game a lot more harder for new people to get into if there was cross-platform to PC.
Oh no, I'm not talking about cross-platform in the same way that I think you mean. I think what Red was trying to say is separate patching. Is that what you were getting at, Red, instead of the term cross-platform patches?
Yeah, so it, like the Xbox and the PS4 and the PC would remain on their platforms as a platform itself. I'm not saying that PC players will be able to jump in with the Xbox players, so forth and so forth. What I'm saying is that the updates, the patches and the game changes need to be console or PC specific, because it's a much better experience to play this game on the PC than it is on the console.
Oh yeah, it's like night and day, man. It's very, very much fun.
Marino, we'll be going over, just before the stream ends, we'll be going over everything we discussed before we pop out for the night. So if you are wanting to know what has been discussed today, simply stay until the end, mate, and we will get over to doing that for you.
Kingdom Ruler, thanks for the lead the badge, man. Hype zone activated, boys. Yeah, Salt. So essentially, oh, thanks for the follow, buddy. I appreciate it, Kingdom. For me, I use a wireless controller hooked in, but I have a monitor. Now, up until about 2 weeks ago, I was playing on just a 4K TV. I got myself a gaming monitor with a 1 millisecond response time, and essentially it has made the game appear a lot smoother. You don't have as much frame issue, and the likes of deflects, parries and stuff like that has enhanced. If I am not, well, when I'm streaming it has to relay through my Elgato, so there does be a little bit of a latency issue, but whenever I'm not streaming and I'm just playing with the HDMI lead hooked into the thing itself, it's a lot smoother. Yeah, Kingdom Ruler, it's a real fun game, buddy. You'll appreciate it, man. You'll love it. As well as that, if I jack in my controller with the USB cable, this shaman is like determined to try and ledge me. Yeah.
But, ladies and gents, to summarise everything before we open the floor yet again for some of your questions, our main concerns for this game are as follows. We've got the current patches, the reworks that are coming out for the characters, the sheer lack of communication between the devs and the community. Yes, they are improving on it, but let's keep in mind that slow improvements are good in some instances. In this game, it just feels like it's a stale environment. So, to kind of leave it on a good point, in all to say, this game is still a good game. Let's not get that mixed up with other things.
100% sure.
But the main concerns for me as a comp player and from the casual side both is the fact that these reworks need to be on point. We can't have another lapse of Peacekeeper, because what the fuck's the point in that? It's just stupid, it's horrible. And the fact that the Xbox is more horrendous to play on now than it ever has been in the past. So definitely bringing in some cross-platform updates or something along those lines are going to help out everybody massively. Oh
yeah,
shit.
I wouldn't use the term cross-platform, I would use the separate platform. Because a lot of people think that For Honor is going to turn into some sort of like Fortnite sort of scenario where PC and Xbox can all play together. It's more, I know what you mean.
Oh damn it, I thought I'd get my hyper armor off, but I didn't have enough health. But I mean, as this podcast begins, you know, well, it's begun now. As it continues, there'll be more things to talk about and so forth. But one of the questions we've got in Spanks and Randy is, what's your thoughts on the new gear rework? I just started playing again and it's completely different. So, I'm assuming he means the perk system. Kieran, kick it off. What are you thinking?
Horrible.
So I'm assuming you prefer the fucking.
I don't like
Yeah,
it.
I know that, Salt.
You have to get used to it. You have to find someone that can kind of help you to understand it, because it is a bitch to try and understand.
Mhm.
It's not fun to have your gear really good at first and then not understand what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I get that 100%. It seems like I mean, I'm assuming it feels like to yourself that it's not a more centralized build. It's not what you're after, and it feels a little bit empty, and it's practically pointless at the end of the day with the new perk systems and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like the old version, to be honest. You were able to build for different modes and different things. Poetic, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Detailed.
Poetic was saying about deflecting. On console, it is more prediction. In terms of that, there, if you do have the likes of a gaming monitor and things like that, there, as Salt was saying, it does give you that edge. It gives you a little bit more leeway to work with.
So, what do you mean, mate? Let me know. Give me a look. What do you mean? What's my setup?
setup, like monitor, controller? What are you using? Is it wired controller? Is it a gaming monitor? Is it a TV?
So I
Things like
use
that,
a
but-
TV and a computer screen for all the YouTube side of stuff. And I use a wireless controller.
You play on TV
I play on TV.
and a
Yeah.
wireless controller. Yeah, so you don't exactly. You're not essentially using anything that's giving you, not an unfair advantage, but you know, helping you with certain things like parries and stuff. Whereas, like, if you're using a gaming monitor and a wired controller, you are essentially eliminating about 30 milliseconds or more, depending on the TV, of latency,
Yeah.
which in turns mean that, you know, those 400 millisecond lights are 450 millisecond lights. You know what I mean? There is a difference there. There's more of an opportunity for you to react because of that. Like, for example, when I play on PC, I'm playing it at 140 frames per second, which means that it's
Playing
such a
28.
strange thing. It's such a strange scenario because when you're playing with that much frames, it's like slow motion compared to Xbox, and I really mean that. You know, the frame rate's still going to be the same on the Xbox no matter what screen you're using, but it's the response time of that screen. So essentially, if you're playing on a TV with a 60 millisecond response time, that means that Orochi light that just flew out was actually coming to you instead of 400 milliseconds. It was coming to you at 340 milliseconds. Plus, they've been able to implement some sort of like reaction delay or something like that there.
Yeah, you've got your delayed lights and so forth. And you've
So,
also
you
got
know,
your
like-
lag and your connection issues that fucking implement how fast these attacks
all
come
that
out.
latency is another major. I was playing on PC the other day, man, and this guy came in and he had a latency of 370, and he was just teleporting around the screen, man. It was crazy.
Oh, the Shaolin wants a piece. Nicely done. Beautifully done, boys. But, ladies and gentlemen, that marks the end of the discussion phase. We've still got about 3 minutes before I'm going to end the stream, so do feel free to get involved in the comment section and ask questions or whatnot. But, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. It's going to be a thing that remains on both my channel and the Dr. Spankalicious stream. We've also got Alpha JJ and Randy JK that will now be doing a lot of Twitch streaming. Their links are in my About section on my YouTube. So, of course,
I wasn't even
do...
aware of that.
Please do indeed go over and show them some support on that. I would greatly appreciate it. And the same for Dr. Spankalicious, because you'll be seeing him a lot more on the channel. So, please, do keep in touch. Oh, shite. Yeah, I'm getting abused. Aha. But if you do have any questions, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, please do feel free in the last couple minutes of the stream to pop them in and we'll answer them.
Yeah, I get what you mean, Salt. On the gaming monitor, it's a lot easier. And Poetic, I understand what you mean as well, dude. It's easier for people to mess you up on the PC because of that frame rate. You know, you'll get rep 2s, 3s, parrying lights. You know, whereas on console end of things, parrying a light is something you don't see every day. More of a high-end sort of a thing.
Oh, shite.
So I got excited. 19-3.
Oh, rip. Rip that guy.
Up against the
But,
Pirate
ladies and gentlemen,
Shaman
next week's podcast on Saturday will not actually be a live streamed podcast. This will be a pre-recorded and released at 7 o'clock for you guys to enjoy. And this will be myself and Mr. Spanky going over our expectations for Anthem on the content. The reason that this is in fact being a pre-recording is because we can't exactly stream the clips and so forth that I've collected for next week. So do keep that in mind. So it'll be up there for you guys to view. This one will be up on my channel, potentially Spanky's channel as well, if you guys want to go and watch it. If you want to go over, well, go back and see some of the points that we have raised. But, ladies and gentlemen, that has been an hour with the Celts. So I do hope you've enjoyed the podcast, and I do hope you're enjoying this new form of content here on the Red Dawn channel, because this is here to stay. So, links in the description will be to all the relevant channels that have been mentioned, so do go and show some support there. Make sure you do leave a like on this, ladies and gentlemen. It helps out more than you know. Hit that subscribe button. And as always, it has been the Red Dawn, ladies and gentlemen. And I will see you guys in the next podcast.